The first story I'd like to share with you tonight is sort of a little montage of about half a dozen short stories. And I'd like you to hold your applause until the final story, and I'll try to remember to give you a visual clue that I'm done with that particular little set. It's a set of stories of my mother's that she gave me. It's the legacy my mother has left to me. We had a workshop this morning, about finding and writing and sharing your personal history, and that it's more than nostalgia. It's really important. It's for your how your family knows where they came from and who they came from. These were my fairy tales. These were my favorite bedtime stories. The stories about my mother when she was a young girl, the sort of young girl I was growing into. Cinderella's ball didn't hold a candle to the USO dances my mom and her sister went to every Friday night. And so that's what I want to share with you tonight, some of my mother's stories from those times. And I'd like to share them in my mother's voice, the way I heard them. And my mother would have said, they let us out of school early that day. I don't know why. And instead of going straight home where we all knew there'd be chores and homework waiting for us, we decided to take that early dismissal and run off to Fink Park to play. Now, Fink Park was on the edge of town, about, I don't know, half a mile from Edmond High School. In those days, that was out in the boonies, right on US Highway 66. Now, you wouldn't know it was a park, except for the sign that the WPA had erected in front of it to say it was a municipal park. It did have a concrete picnic table and benches, but the only playground equipment in the whole park was a big tree with a branch overhanging a red rock gully, a rope, several knots tied on it. I knew the hiking trails in that park to be old cattle trails, just like the ones that ran through my father's farm. This was Fink Park. This was our playland. Now that tree with the rope swing, you know, when I was 10 years old, 11 years old, I'd grab that rope swing and run. I'd sail into the air without a thought to my safety or what I was doing. But here we were, young ladies, 16 years old. We knew words like chasm. We knew words like abyss. And our hearts were thumping as we approached that rope swing. I remember Norma Jean was the first one. She grabbed onto that rope and she pushed off and she hollered, "Yee-haw!" all the way across the gully, over and back, over and back, over and back. She jumped off the rope when it came still enough and looked at us all triumphantly and said, "There, top that." Well, Harriet Lindstrom was next. Shy little Harriet. She didn't say anything. She just grabbed onto that rope and pushed off and watched the ground moving beneath her as she swung over and back. And when she was finished, she stood up tall, gave us all a quiet little smile, handed the end of the rope to me. I didn't want to show anyone how scared I was, so I pushed off and I yelled, "Whoopee!" as I sailed across that gully, and I felt like I was flying. It was exhilarating, it was terrifying, it was wonderful. There must have been 12 of us girls down at the park that day, and by the time all of us had had our turns, the shadows were growing long, the sun was going down. It really was time to go home.